Hello and good morning and welcome to the Coffee with Christine show. I am your host, Christine, and I'm so excited that you're here with me today. Today is October the 23rd of 2022, and today's episode is number 26. This whole week, we've been talking about time management and how we can better utilize our time. And today is going to be getting your 15 minutes a day. So always, this podcast is for women who are looking for tips and tricks and guidance in how to utilize self-care to help influence their law of attraction and manifesting skills. And it's perfect for the women who are really super busy and introverted and are just not really sure where to start. They feel like they're spinning their wheels. They feel guilty whenever they do self-care, and they're looking to ditch the guilt and really up level their lives. So that's who this podcast is for. I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that you're listening. Honestly, this podcast can be for anyone who's listening because the tips and tricks are same across the board, but I love focusing on women who have a tendency to put themselves first before they put anyone else first. Because they're the ones who need to hear this. They're the ones who need to know that it's okay to put themselves first. And it's okay to actually make things more efficient so they get more time back, so they can actually spend more time with their family because of how they've set things up in their lives. All right. So this morning I am sipping on my Quackers coffee. If you recognize the cup, it's a white mug that says, "Every time I get my ducks in a row, somebody moves the lake." So we always think that we have things aligned and it doesn't always work, but I'll tell you what, the system I created definitely helps keep you on track. So highly recommend it if you guys want to check that out. I have all the links and everything below. But as we get started today, I'm going to pull our tarot card to set the intention for today's meeting. And today's meeting is the Four of Swords. So it is, I'm using my Game of Thrones deck. So of course the visual imagery is fantastic, but let me describe this to you. It is a healer of the seven gods and standing over the body of someone who is either sick or passed. They've got the stone over their eyes, so it's passed. But if we know anything about the magical healers of the seven, they're able to restore life, right? And so when you think of the Four of Swords, you think one at rest and three risen. How visually instilling is that? You know, the three crosses, the swords with the hilts up create a cross. So three crosses, faith. Oh, that's magical. Swords represents thinking and thought and movement through air. So we think about how we're thinking and recovery. And four usually represents foundation. So you're laying on a foundation. You've got the rest of the swords building up. So today we're going to be focusing on recovery and foundation. How amazing is that? I love when the cards really completely align with what we're going to be working on today. So today, getting your 15 minutes a day, that is creating a good, solid, bounding routine for you that will actually really allow you to feel better. And by feeling better, you start recovering. And by recovering, you start really embracing everything in your life in a way that feels good without overcomplicating it. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about why getting your 15 minutes in is so important. We're also going to talk about why 15 minutes. Why do I pick 15 minutes for you guys to focus on? And then I'm going to give you guys some examples of things that you can do and implement and start feeling better right away. Okay? So this week we're doing our wins. I've got two really great wins. My sister and her husband Pete have just celebrated their 13th anniversary. They have two absolutely beautiful baby boys, and they are they're happy. They're the ones who moved into their new home, and they're doing so well. Now we've got my friend Kelly, who her oldest son just started his new job. And I know how proud Kelly is. It's, as a mom, you love seeing your kids grow, but it's hard watching your kids grow. It's kind of like when the babies first go off into school and you're just like, you can't stop the tears. You're crying because you're proud. You're crying because what it represents to them as they're growing up and getting older. And it's absolutely gorgeous to watch, but I feel you, Kelly. I do. I feel you entirely. So celebrating wins. If you guys want me to give you shout outs on here, definitely let me know before Sunday so that way I can write it into the script. I'm always looking out for good news. So if you guys have any, even throughout the week, just let me know and I will do everything I can to. I'll make a note of it and shout it out on Sunday. I want you guys to celebrate the wins and the good stuff. We all need to hear good stuff. Okay. So today, diving on into the 15 minutes a day for self-care. So why is self-care so important? Self-care is important because without putting ourselves first, we have a tendency to burn out. We're getting pulled in too many different directions. We're running ourselves ragged, and we're not taking enough time for us to feel better. And when we do that, we start feeling resentful. We start holding grudges and you're sitting there and I'm doing for you and you're not doing anything for me. That's when the bickering starts in the relationships. And when you are not taking just a few minutes for yourself a day to ground yourself in something that feels good, others pick up on that energy, especially when you're feeling frazzled. Perfect example of this is, have you ever gotten out of bed on the wrong side of the bed and you tripped over the dog and you fell into the bathroom and you're out of toothpaste and there's no toilet paper and it snowballs from there? It happens. So the importance of getting those 15 minutes a day in, you trip over the dog, you stumble into the bathroom, you laugh it off and you take a hot shower. And you give yourself a few minutes to kind of reset your mind and reset your intention for the day. Like, all right, well, we started off with a bang, but let's go ahead and find good things to think about. All right. So it's important to keep yourself from getting burnt out. Okay. Now, why 15 minutes? I've found that anything over 15 minutes, especially to start, is difficult for people to retain and redo the routine, to stick to the routine. There we go. Because you're losing 20 minutes of sleep to do this thing in the morning, or you're taking 15 minutes out of your day you're taking that away from your kids and you feel guilty about it, or you're taking away from your husband in the evening. And 15 minutes is a lot easier to stick to than really any amount of time. It's good to build up, especially if it's something that, if you find yourself struggling to keep up with it at the 15 minutes, start off at 5 and build into it. There's nothing wrong with starting small. In fact, that's a better way to do it. But 15 minutes of going for a walk is a lot easier to feel good about than going for a straight hour your first time out. So 15 minutes is a really great place to start for the routine building. Again, if you need to start off with something smaller, a 5 or 10 minute chunk is easier to find that time during the day. And in fact, if you notice that you can't get it all done in one shot, you can do it 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, and 5 minutes here, and still get your 15 minutes throughout the entire day. And that's been a really good way of getting meditations in or quieting your mind. So let's go into some examples of what things you can do to feel better. So I already gave you the example of taking a hot shower. You can do that for 5 minutes. You can do that for 10 minutes. You can do that for 15 minutes. And you're still doing something productive, but you're also doing something that feels good to you. You can go for a walk. You can sit and you can journal. My favorite thing to do in the morning is to listen to an Abraham Hicks video on YouTube. I love starting my day with that because it'll always be the first one that pops up, and I'm like, you know what, that's the one I'm meant to hear. And it starts my day off in my connectivity with my inner being and my inner source, because I'm listening to words that are inspiring me and calming me and getting me ready to start the day. So for me, that's my 15 minutes every single day. And you can meditate, you can journal. I also do a tarot journal in the morning too. So I do 15 minutes of Abraham Hicks, and then I sit down, and as I'm having my first cup of coffee, I'm doing my tarot reading for the day. So things that I'm looking forward to for the day. You can spend that in prayer. You can spend that journaling and setting your intention for the day that way. There's so many things that you can do for yourself. And I know you know a lot of these. Like a lot of this isn't a secret, but it's the implementing of the information that a lot of us struggle with. So that's why I started my renewal program. That's why I started with the download and everything. I started with my books to really help you create a routine that you can build easily into your day, not feel guilty, and actually really streamline your time to be able to spend more time with the people that you love. So I hope that gives you guys some incentive as to why you need to take 15 minutes a day for yourself. Even if it's just a few minutes in the bathroom, hiding from the kids in the shower, or sitting down and enjoying a cup of coffee with a friend. You can do that too. Whatever makes you feel good, you need to be doing that, and at least for 15 minutes a day. And it's easy to work that into your schedule. It's a lot easier than you think it is. Okay. If you have to wake up just a few minutes earlier, then so be it. But doing something for yourself is going to help prevent a lot of craziness in the long run. Okay. Craziness like health issues, craziness like mental breakdowns, craziness like fights and divorces. And, I don't like bringing that stuff up just because it feels yucky. But at the same time, we'll go ahead and we'll dive in on this just a little bit. I, for the longest time, did not put my self-care first. I was working at a job that I was miserable in, and I was holding a lot of resentment. I was drinking. I was doing a lot of stuff that I really shouldn't have been doing, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And that led me not taking time for myself early on, forced me to have to take time out. And when you're spending over 250 hours between doctor appointments and infusion treatments and, testing and, other appointments and everything, you're forced to take that time. And I don't recommend it. Honestly, strongly do not recommend it. Take your 15 minutes now. Love yourself now. Pamper yourself now. And then that way, at least if something happens later on down the road, you've done everything you can to take care of yourself. And that gives you such a more solid feeling of foundation. It gives you a much more solid feeling of security, and like you've done the best you can for yourself. And it helps put your mind at ease when you're doing something for yourself too. I promise. Okay? So go and do wonderful things today. You guys are amazing. Today is a sacred day. I want you to focus on the good. I want you to focus on feeling good. And I want you to focus on just carve out 15 extra minutes for you today, and then tell me what you guys are going to be doing. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching me for your daily dose of love and caffeination. I hope you go and have a wonderful day and go and live with passion. Love you. Bye.